recently saw a comment under one of the videos about avoidant attachment that said something like this: people with avoidant attachment need partners who are naive, do not set boundaries, are willing to be doormats, and available on the avoidant partner's schedule. What I see in that statement is one form of adaptation, a response that arises when someone comes face to face with an avoidant partner who instinctively confuses closeness with danger, with the fear of dissolving into the relationship and losing control. And so this adaptation quietly says, you are afraid to lose yourself. Fine, I'm going to lose myself for you. But it shows that both people get attracted here based on a common belief, even if they don't consciously realize it. But belief is that someone always loses themselves in a relationship, and that this is the price to pay. And the best scenario in this mindset is a balance of how much each partner will lose. So when people come together united by a false belief like this, they often create a re-traumatizing experience, meaning that sadly they will exit their relationship more sure of their false belief than when they entered it. Avoidant attachment style is a broad topic, and whether a person has it or does not say much. But what does speak is what they do with it. And you can see that in how they respond to someone who is not willing to disappear in a relationship, but also does not run away. That introduces a new experience where nobody needs to lose themselves in a relationship. And the following points of mindset help with that. Number one, in a relationship, it's essential for a partner to stay in the role of a romantic partner, not slipping into the role of a caring or punishing parent for a long period of times. The temptation often arises to give what we think our partner needs, trying to heal their inner child. We may think that once they receive what's missing, they'll return it to our own inner child. This happens to those who confuse love with being needed or useful, as it comes down the anxiety, giving them a sense of security that their partner will not leave because they provide some sort of resource to them. But when this doesn't happen, the caring parent can quickly turn into a punishing one. And remember, in any parent-child dynamic, once the child receives what they need, they naturally separate from the parent. It's a normal part of parent-child dynamic. Once the psyche receives the resources it lacked, its next stage is a romantic relationship, and it won't stay with someone who plays the role of a parent. Number two, knowing the difference between naivety and trust. Trust without boundaries is naivety. Naivety is viewing a relationship like a greenhouse where I see only the good and ignore risks, shifting the responsibility for the outcome and satisfaction of your needs onto the partner. Naivety is living in a fantasy about unconditional love without conflicts, perfect people, and perfect relationships that come with guarantees once and forever. Trust is built by first trusting yourself. It's seen relationships as a process where things happen and evolve, and where I can separate my interpretations of what is happening from what is really happening through discussion and desire to learn. Trust in others is recognizing that their actions are about preserving their individuality, not rejecting me. It's understanding their defense mechanisms as a ways to protect their vulnerabilities. It's not a personal attacks. Here is an example. Naivety in a relationship with an avoidant. So one might give love in advance, expecting it to be reciprocated later, thinking that by providing enough support, an avoidant partner will eventually change and open up. However, this does not reflect reality. Avoidance is a defense mechanism that has been developed early and has been solidifying over a lifetime, and would take a repeated routine and a significant amount of time to change. Trust is when you trust the person to have the strength and wisdom to go through this process, where old ways are kindly discouraged and new ways are encouraged. If you blindly continue offering love to someone who withdraws emotionally while disregarding your own needs, you may unintentionally reinforce the very defense mechanism that causes emotional distance. Number 3, ability to see the world through triangles. An immature psych views relationships as a dyad. It's just me and the other person, constantly negotiating who gets more, who's more important, and so on. And this can lead to dependency and power struggles. A mature psych, however, sees relationships through 3 angles: me, the other person, and the relationship. When the relationship is seen as a shared project that both partners actively work on, it's like 2 builders. Let's say one is the carpenter and the other the electrician. Each has their own role and pace. One cannot take over the other's responsibility. Even when support is given, it's an investment in what is being created together, not an overcompensation for the other person's emotional withdrawal. What benefits the relationship in the long term outweighs the short-term actions that might seem rewarding for one person in the moment. For example, during a conflict, it may seem rewarding to avoid addressing an issue, to prevent immediate tension, but in the long run, not resolving the issue can harm the relationship. Facing and resolving the conflict creates lasting growth and a stronger connection, benefiting both partners in the long term. Another key perspective in threes is that there is me, the other person, and their world, recognizing that the other person has their own battles, processes, and needs. And this helps move away from the egocentric view where the other person's actions are explained solely through one's own lens, like assuming certain behaviors mean something about oneself. Instead, it encourages understanding that the other person's actions are part of their own process. Number 4, understanding what boundaries actually are. Love without boundaries is addiction. And boundaries remain one of the most misunderstood concepts in relationships. Very often, what people call boundaries is actually a covered up way of managing or controlling another person's behavior. But here's the paradox. If you are explaining your emotional state solely through someone else's actions, like let's say you say, I feel this way because you act like this way, you are already in a state of enmeshment. Enmeshment is when you stop seeing the other person as they are and instead relate to your own projections of them. You live with them in your imagination, you assign them power over your internal state and believe that they are responsible for how you feel. True boundaries are impossible when you don't understand yourself. When you project disowned parts of you onto someone else and then try to fix them instead of facing your own inner experience. And boundaries also don't exist when instead of working with your own triggers, you try to manage the other person so they won't activate them. And that's not protection, that's enmeshment again. Real boundaries are not about changing the other person. They are about taking care of yourself. It's an internal knowing of where I end and the other begins. What is acceptable for me and what is not. And the ability to express that without attack, without blame, and without pressure. Number 4, the ability to accept the risk of loneliness and the possibility of rejection. It's essential. Staying aligned with personal values becomes possible only when there is a sense of internal safety, independent of another person's choices or emotional states. Without that safety, the psyche instinctively avoids anything it perceives as threatening, even at the cost of betraying those values. For the psyche, Safety always comes before integrity. Romantic connection is inherently risky. Two people may spend a lifetime together, or they might part ways tomorrow. Risk is not an exception, it's the norm. Life itself is not linear, it pulses like a heartbeat, and when there is no fluctuation, there is no life. Every rise and fall in that rhythm brings a new wave of uncertainty. And relationships are the most volatile experience in human life. Each beginning holds the potential for an end. And every end is the seed of a new beginning. Emotional maturity includes readiness for shared life and for separation, for continuity and for change, physically, emotionally, and materially. And that's it for today. Don't forget to hit that like button, of course, if you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. And as always, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.